Let's learn to set up our drum kit. Yeah, there's nothing there. Hi, I'm Felipe Drago and welcome to Drago Drums. Yes, you've heard right. Let's learn how to set up our drum kit. Maybe you're saying, I already know how to do that. Let me propose something to you. How about take a look at this video and then take a look at your drum kit and see if that really is the case. Because what happens is in the beginning, we set up our kits according to our favorite drummer. And usually that person has a completely different body than we do. For example, my first drum hero was the drummer for Kiss at the time, Eric Carr. I'm 6 foot, he was 5'6". So it's a big difference. So there's no way the way he set up his kit would make me comfortable playing. Never tried, never had a chance, but I'm pretty sure, right? Also, for example, another drummer that I used to like a lot back in the 80s, still like the guy, but one of my drum heroes of the 80s, Nico McBrain, he's taller than me. So I'm pretty sure that the way he sets up his kit is not gonna be comfortable for me to play. So that's why I'm coming with this proposition. First and more important than anything else, after you buying a good drum kit, you have to buy an equal quality drum set, drum throne. This is amazingly good. This is Brazilian made, believe it or not, and I bought this in the late 80s, if I'm not mistaken, 1989. And I still have it, and it's still great, and still solid like a rock. And you want a solid set. So this is where we're starting, a good set. The other thing is the height of the set. I cannot tell you like 20 centimeters, 1 centimeter, 12 inches, whatever, right? Why? Because the height has to go according to your body. So me being 6 foot is one height. If you're shorter, it's gonna be lower. If you're taller, it's gonna be higher. So using the other camera, the one that's right there, look at the angle on my leg. You can see in this camera as well, but better on that one. So you see, there's an angle. I don't want the angle of my leg being any smaller than this. Right? If you want to sit a little bit higher, great. If you want to go a little bit lower, I wouldn't recommend. So make sure the angle between your thigh and your leg is a little bit over 90 degrees if you want to be very precise and scientific about it. So this is first thing. Height, seat height. Back in the 80s and early 90s, and I was guilty of that, we used to sit really low. So the angle was a little bit lower than 90 degrees. Why we did that, I have no idea. We used to sit down really low and set up stuff really high. But I was young, I was in my 20s, so it's fine. But that's not good for your back. It gives you huge back problems. I had huge back problems in the US. When I was studying at MI, Ralph Humphrey, one of the teachers there, told me, first of all, raise your seat. Second of all, go find a chiropractor. The other thing very, very important is the position of your feet. It's not very good to play with your feet like this or like that. So where it's comfortable to you should be the place for, in my case, right foot, the bass drum, left foot, the hi-hat. And this is what we're gonna start with, the bass drum. So my drum kit's gonna be facing that wall. So I have here the bass drum pedal that I'm gonna put facing the wall, right where my foot is. So now, I put a little bit to the front. So now all I do is this. So here, where it's comfortable to me, this is where the pedal goes, and obviously this is where the bass drum goes. So here's my bass drum. looking at that camera. So it's very comfortable for me here, right? So here I have my bass drum. Second thing is the snare. So here's the snare. Things about the snare. Belt height. More or less belt height. The other thing is, after setting up the height, which is, as I said, kind of belt height, it's the next thing is how far from you it's gonna be. Have your arms hanging very relaxed next to your body. Lift just your forearm. Let me do this with the sleeve. So lift your forearm, and your hand already has an angle, right? So all you do is put the stick there. And wherever the stick ends should be the center of your snare drum. Okay? Easy like that. So very comfortable. And that goes for both hands. Both my sticks are at the center of the snare drum. Okay? Next thing, hi-hat. So hi-hat, same principle of the bass drum. Wherever your feet are comfortable, this is the best position for your hi-hat. Okay? This is how it should be. In my case, I play open-handed, but anybody who plays cross-handed, I'm just gonna raise this. You're gonna see that even though it's a little bit further for the right hand, you don't need to stretch your hand to play the hi-hat. It's from here. So I have both sticks at the center of the snare drum, and here, all I do is lift the stick enough and bring your hand over here so I can play the hi-hat. Okay? So, and then from this hi-hat, snare, and bass drum, I'm gonna set up everything else. Next thing, tone 1. So, tone 1, right in front of the snare, and in a distance that I don't need to stretch either. Let's put the sleeves up a little bit. And from here, I'm in the center of tone 1. I don't need to move my body forward, and I also don't need to stretch my arms. Here it is. Okay? Ta-da! Now, tone 2. If your drum kit only has one tone, the job with tone 1 is done. If your drum kit has 2 tones, set up the second tone not too far from the first tone. So have them close together so it's easier to go from one tone to the other. Also, if you're setting up the kit the way we're doing it right now, the same way it's easy to go from here to here, it's gonna be easy to come here from here. So from the same angle, I have my sticks and my arm in the middle of tone 1, I should have in the middle of tone 2. Easy like that. Next thing, floor tone. Here's the floor tone. One thing that's very common is people setting up the floor tone really low. I'm going to do on this side, like they're playing on the snare, they go to tone 1, tone 2, and to go to the tone floor tone, they go like that. The same thing as the snare, a little bit, just a tiny bit lower than the snare, but like less than half an inch. Also, sometimes people put the floor tone really close to their leg. Remember, everything has to be easy to reach and that you don't need to stretch. So from here, I can play the snare, I can play the tone, tone 2, and floor tone. See, it's just the arms in a circular motion, okay? Easy peasy. Next, right cymbal. Here we have the right cymbal. Sometimes people put it really high. It's really tiring on the arm going like that. So again, if I'm playing here, I put it down, but let's think. I'm playing here. When I want to go to the right cymbal, all I want to do is this. So this is the angle of my arm. Always try to have everything within reach so that you don't need to stretch for anything. Next thing, crash cymbal. Crash cymbal, there's not much to say, but try to be away from the tom, right? And not so high that you have to do this to play the crash cymbal. Back in the 80s, we used to do like that, but there's no reason why. I don't recommend. So there you have it. Now, anything else you want to put on this drum kit, a cowbell, another crash, or either over here, or a China, or whatever it is, you have the basics. You have a starting point. And this is very important. From here, you can set up any way you want. Just one little thing to consider before we go. Many years ago, a friend of mine came to my house with his bass drum. Back in the day, we had no idea there was such a thing as the double pedal, and we wanted to try to play double bass and see what happened. This friend came to my house, he brought his bass drum, and obviously, look at the angle of my legs. The moment you have two bass drums, one is here, the other one is here. I put my bass drum to the right, and then the toms were here, right? And not only that looked weird, being used to starting a drum fill like going in front of me, if I was distracted playing the double bass drum and I wanted to play a drum fill, sometimes I would, oh my God. So what I did was I took the toms out of the bass drum and put them on a cymbal stand. And then I had the snare drum, so the two toms were here and the snare drum were in between the toms. I felt so comfortable playing like that. So comfortable, you wouldn't believe. Since then, and that was before then when I bought this set. Since then, my main kit, the kit I use for practicing, if it's a gig that I can take my main kit, that's how I set it up. So now I'm gonna show you how it is on my main kit. Try that as well. If you have two toms, or even if you have one tom, if you think that because you have one bass drum and that tom, because of the position of your leg, is a little bit to the right, put it on a cymbal stand. What I did back then was the top part of the cymbal stand, I put it on the bass drum, and that was my crash cymbal for years and years and years. But now it's about the tom-tom. So try as much as you want. You have, as I showed you here, the starting point. So from here you can do whatever you want as long as you're comfortable and centered. And now I'm gonna show you my main kit and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So this is my main kit. As you can see, my bass drum is a little bit to the right, as if I had another bass drum over here. And right in the middle of my toms is my snare drum. Right, because I have another crash on the right, on this side. So I have my right really low, because then all I need to do is this. Crash and crash very low. I have another right here. To China's, I have another hi-hat over here that's not here today. But see, but the principle is the same. From here, with the sticks in the center of my snare drum, I have another floor tom over here. So both floor toms play no problem. So if I decide to do a drum fill that goes like that, one hand to the right hand to the right, left hand to the left, I don't need to reach out to anything. So experiment. Go from the basics that I showed you on the other drum kit, which is my student's drum kit here in the studio. And from there, try change the way you set up your kick. You're not going to regret. If you still think that basic way is the best, fine, yeah, that's the best. Okay? So, if you got to this point in the video, say, I'm here. Yeah, write in the comments, I'm here, so I know who's coming till the end of the video. And if you liked this video, press like. If you didn't like, press you didn't like. Helps me to know how many people like, how many people don't like my videos. Thank you very much. See you on the next one. Let's play.